First Sunday of 2018. Who has plans for 2018? A few people. If you're not raising your hands, I think you're lying. Everybody has plans, right? And most of it is just things like spend time with friends, spend time with family, but a lot of it is also things we need, not just things we want, like have a job, go to work every day, get paid, pay the bills, have a house and pay for the house, or own a house, depends, or have family, spend time with your family and loved ones, right? It's things that matter, things that we need. And sometimes our plans don't get fulfilled. By the way, who here has never had any plan not come true? Any plan not come true. Never had a plan not come true. Everybody's had a plan not come true, right? Something happened, things don't always go your way, things can change. Yes, okay. And most of the time it's easy to just kind of get through it. It's not that big of a deal, not really a problem. You can just go ahead and keep living. But sometimes something really bad can happen, something traumatic. And a very important plan can go ahead and go awry. Maybe you lost a job, or God forbid a loved one, or you have problems in your family, in your relationships, something at church, and life gets you down, and you a little bit desperate. You have a little bit of despair, a little bit of doubt, and it's a dark period in your life, so to speak. And it's really hard to focus on God and to just stay strong and, happy through it. And it's easy to say that everything happens according to God's will, and that, everything is good because everything is happening according to God's plan. But that doesn't just instantly make things better. I mean, Jesus isn't just some magic tool that fixes everything for you, and he isn't here to just make your life perfect. In fact, life as a follower of Jesus Christ is harder than life as a non-believer, right? I mean, Joel Osteen might disagree with me on that, but at GNC we preach the truth, and the truth is that when you live a life with Christ, it's harder. Look at what Jesus himself said in Luke 9:23-24. If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. Life is hard. We can't really, deny that and just say that everything is good because we're with God, because everything is not always good. We live in an imperfect world. And at the end of the day, you just have to be patient through it. That's something a friend of mine said about a year ago when we were talking about patience at youth. But there's something wrong with that picture. Let me illustrate. I'm going to need one volunteer. Radik. I'm not going to need you to talk. Could you please come right here? Good News Church, I would like you to meet somebody. Good News Church, this is Larry. Larry, this is Good News Church. Larry is a bit down. He's had some rough times in his life this past year, but right now it's the new year. He's kind of reviewing the past year, and at his community group, he came over to share what's been going on with his life. Now, Larry actually has a friend, and I would like to ask someone. Igor. Okay, Pastor Michael, could you please come on over here? Okay, Good News Church. This is Tom. Tom, this is Good News Church. Everyone's very excited to meet one another. Tom is very excited. He's had a great year. He's come to Community Group 2 to share how much of a great year he's had. But of course, first Larry's going to share his experience. So at the start of the year, Larry hit a rough patch. He lost his job, and he loved that job. It was, a big part of his life. He really loved it, and when he lost it, he just, got a bit, what's the word? Sad? Not sad, more than sad. Depressed? Depressed, there you go. Yeah. He got a little depressed, and things started to get hard because for months he just couldn't find a job, and it was just this terrible time when he was having these financial struggles. Actually had to take a loan from his dad, so not very good. His girlfriend left him because he didn't have the money anymore, and he was just devastated, and the whole year just was terrible for him. Now, Tom's year was great. Started out a bit iffy. He lost his job, but hey, it was a learning experience for him. He can spend a few months while he was looking for a new job to spend time just growing in God. He did have to take a loan from his dad, but in the process, he got closer to his dad through that, and he was very grateful for that experience. Although also his girlfriend did leave him, but that just shows that she was with him for the money and not for who he is, so dodged a bullet right there. And Tom had an amazing year of growth with Christ. Now, the interesting thing here is that Tom and Larry basically had the same circumstances. They had the same things happen to them through the whole year. But Larry says he had a terrible year, and Tom says he had a great year. So, if you think about it really, technically, Larry and Tom, they were both patient through it, but it's more than just being patient through it. Look at how Tom reacted to his situations and how Larry, yes, this is Larry, how Larry reacted to his situations. Tom trusted in God, and God showed him his grace and his greatness through all of those situations, and Tom learned something new. And Larry just got depressed and more depressed. We can't always change our circumstances, but we can always change how we view and understand them. Thank you, Tom and Larry. You can go ahead and take your seats. Yes. In regards to going through these struggles, going through difficult times, I like the word long-suffering. It's basically just two words put together, long and suffering, right? And long, it's not just like a day or a week, it's a long period. And suffering, it's not just something, at the back of your head that's bothering you. No, it's suffering. You're going through a dark, difficult time. Everything in your life is going maybe wrong even. You're having struggles in your family, in your job. Every day is a struggle. Maybe you're crying yourself to sleep. It's hard. It's suffering. It's not just, a little tough. It's really difficult. It's suffering. Long suffering through all of these situations. And it's just this dark period that seems to have no point. And what's the end of this period anyway? Well, thank God we have the Bible to tell us that. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. At the end, the Lord will renew your strength if you wait on him. He will mount you up with wings like eagles. You will run and not be weary, and you will walk and not faint. Tom trusted in God. He waited on the Lord, and he rose above all the problems that he had and flew like on an eagle's wings. Larry didn't trust in God. He didn't wait on the Lord, and he just fell into a pit of despair. I'm going to share a little story with you, and I think probably everyone here has heard this story because it was really popular back in like 2009 or 10 or something. It was like everywhere, on cups, on little frames, picture frames, and everything, like everywhere. But even if everyone has heard it, it's a good story. So, a man was walking on the beach one day and he was walking with Jesus Christ, and then he looks back and he sees their footprints, and their footprints are his life. And he sees spots where there's only one set of footprints. And he was walking with Jesus Christ, right? There should be two sets of footprints, but there's only one set. And he asks Jesus, why in those most difficult times of my life is there only one set of footprints? Why did you not walk with me at my most difficult times? And Jesus says, those weren't the times that you walked alone. Those were the times that I carried you. Jesus doesn't just walk with us through our problems. He carries us through them and above them if we can trust in him and put our trust in him and follow him. He is a great God who died for us and who is with us every day of our lives. But sometimes it's easy to forget who we're dealing with. And at the end of the day, that's the problem That's what it is to not trust God, when you forget who he is. Isaiah in chapter 40, starting with verse 27, says, "Why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, and my just claim is passed over by my God? Have you not known, have you not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Almighty God, the creator of the universe, the God who set the stars in the sky, the God who created mountains and oceans, the God who makes the earth revolve around the sun, this is the God that we're talking about. Isn't this a God who deserves to be at the center of each of our lives? And is he at the center of our lives? Because this is what Isaiah is talking about. Put your trust in the Lord. Wait on the Lord. Proverbs 3:3-6 says, "Let not mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, and so find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Right? Trust in the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. This is what Isaiah was talking about when he was talking about waiting on the Lord. You're not just, relying on him once in a while when things get tough. No, you trust in him in everything. He's at the center of your life. Everything in your life revolves around God. Your family, your job, your church, all your relationships, your father, your mother, your sisters, your brothers, your loved ones. Everything is revolving around God. Everything is about God. You give everything to God. Your whole life is centered around God. Trust in the Lord. You put your focus on God and you follow him. Like, ships put their focus on the North Star so they know which direction to go. You put your focus on God and you follow him. "The Lord is my portion," says my soul, "therefore I hope in him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him." Lamentations 3:24-25. The Lord is my portion, right? Portion is when you're eating, a portion is the amount of whatever you're eating that is enough. You don't need any more, you don't need any less. This is the amount that is enough for you, that is everything. The Lord is my portion. He is everything for me, and I cannot exist without him. Nothing else even matters. I want to share another story with you. I think most of you probably know this story too. It was pretty popular like a few years ago too. So there's this guy. He's a steward in a king's court. He's serving this grand king. The king is very powerful. He has a large kingdom with hundreds of cities, and his palace is just gorgeous. just this amazing top-of-the-line architecture. He has rooms filled with gold. He has, like, his servants have servants, and those servants have servants, and those servants have servants. This guy has everything, right? And so this king, he tells his steward, the servant of his, to go and find him a gift for his birthday, which is coming up in a week. And he tells him, find me something that will make a rich man cry with despair and a poor guy cry with joy. So the steward, he's just not sure what to do. He doesn't know where to find a gift like that. He looks everywhere, all throughout the city, the royal city, right? And he sends all of his servants out to all the other cities to try and find a gift like that. But there's nothing he can find. And finally, a week passes. He still couldn't find anything. It's the morning of the king's birthday. He goes out into the town. The steward goes out into the town trying to find something, right? And he walks into a goldsmith's shop crying. The goldsmith asks him, why are you crying? He tells him the story. The goldsmith says, well, I remember you coming in a week ago, and I've actually thought about that, and I think I have something for you. So he goes out back, rummages through his things, and he brings out just a ring. He gives it to the servant, the king's servant, and at first he just looks at it and says, what is this? This isn't going to make the king cry, but then he looks closer at it. There's an inscription of just 4 words. And he says, this is perfect. He goes to the king. The king is already sitting in his giant banquet hall, which is like the size of this room, times 10. And there's all of these nobles surrounding him, all of his friends. He has this giant table with all of this food. Everything is just like plated with gold, all these arches. Everything is so beautiful. And he sees his servant enter the room, or the chamber. And he calls out to him, says, all right, come over here, let's show us your present for me. And he says, if your present doesn't meet the needs, off your head goes. So the steward gives him the ring. The king takes a look at it, and he reads the inscription. And then he looks around at everything around him, at the food, at the arches, the flowers, all of his friends, his rich clothes, all his gold, and he starts crying. And then he drops the ring, and a little poor servant boy picks it up. He reads it too. He starts crying too, except he starts crying with joy. Now, I'm pretty sure you all heard the story before, so you know that the inscription says, this too shall pass. Everything will pass. Everything will eventually come to an end. The good things and the bad things, right? Whatever you're going through, maybe you lost your job, maybe you lost a loved one, maybe you're having struggles in your family, in school, something going on. All of it will pass, but one thing will remain. The eternal will remain. God will remain. And He is all that matters. Put your focus on Him. Center your life around Him. And He will make you soar like on eagle's wings above all of your problems. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Center your life around God. Focus on Him. Because nothing else matters. And He will get you through anything and make you soar above everything. Amen.